a place in the final of the Champion of Champions.
Thank you. Settle down now,
Lively
please.
crowd in here tonight in Bolton.
Frame.
Looking forward to this
Judd
best of
Trump.
11 frame encounter. Judd Trump has won 3 of his previous 4 Champion of Champions semi-finals. Mark Selby has lost both of his previous 2. And as the guys were saying in the interviews, for some reason, even though they're well-established members of the top 4, they've managed to keep avoiding each other in tournaments, haven't played in a big tournament for 3 years. And Selby's last win 7 years ago. So settle back and enjoy what promises to be, based on how well they played to win their groups, a really entertaining match. And I think, as we heard from our guys in the studio, all predictions really are off.
Yeah, the classic encounter, this one is straight away. Mark Selby, cue ball glued to the baulk cushion where it's going to have to be. Both were in amazing form, their respective group finals. Fabulous pot.
1.
Well, this is already what he was doing, of course, in that match with Mark Allen the other night. Getting in with good long ones, making the big breaks. Sort of match where both
6.
players' minds will be focused on the fact that they know they've got to play well. And it looks like Trump's not on that red to the left corner. But what a terrific early recovery pot that was.
7. Nine.
He was in this round, in this venue last year in the semis. He beat Karen Wilson 6-0. And that's
10.
the point. Although obviously they're evenly matched, so you fancy a close match, either one of them can take control and run away with it. When they played in the Champion of Champions quarter-final back in 2014, it was Trump who won 6-1.
$15. 16.
Yeah, it's one of the great fascinations of our sport, the contrast in style. Being players very similar in size and stature, build, all that sort of stuff, but different techniques and different outlook and different ways of going about the business out there. Already here, you see Judd, you know, he's knocked in 2 or 3 terrific pots in the cue ball, doing a bit of mileage.
$22.
Yeah, it's one of those where not everyone was convinced that was going to drop. But he's looking to, as ever, in any match, but particularly a big one like this, just make a statement early on, show Selby how good he's feeling right from the off, how well he's playing.
$27. 28. $34. 35.
So now he's got cue ball under better order. Forced to play a little cannon here. Could be the key shot. Two reds together, get half ball on the low side of it and then into the other three. Like that. Brilliant. Brilliant shot. No pace, just using what was on offer
41.
to separate everything.
$42.
Just looking at the total career titles, if you include everything they've won, Trump 34 titles, Selby 33. So a lot of trophies there between them. Of course, Mark Selby's won 4 World Championships, which is the first thing you look at on any CV.
48. $49. $56.
Mark Selby, who managed to keep things so tight against John Higgins, just made one error to initiate the scoring for
57.
Trump. And he fully expects the frame to be over now. Just a couple of balls and it will be.
Yeah, so many questions to be answered coming into this match, weren't there?
64.
Lads in the studio, myself all pondering what was going to happen tonight. Well, the first
65.
question has been answered. And questioning whether Judd can produce anything like the form of that unbelievable performance against Mark Allen.
72.
The answer is
73.
a firm yes. This has been outstanding. Brilliant potting early on. And when he got the cannon, the reds in the open. This has been
80. 81.
precision to finish the frame off. Let's hope with a century.
$88. $89. Blue ball.
Yeah, he finished very close to the blue. So it's not the century, but 89 from his first chance. It's a fine start to what promises to be a thoroughly entertaining evening snooker. Judd Trump claims first blood against Mark Selby. Welcome back, Mark Selby. I was just watching him there tapping his foot along to teenage kicks they were playing between frames, and he didn't have much to do in the first frame, did he, other than sit in that chair and watch Judd Trump put together that 89 to get the semi-final underway. Best of 11 to play either Ronnie O'Sullivan or Fang Zhengyi in the final on Sunday.
Judd playing it cautious. Almost inviting, trying to get Mark to play a safety and open the Reds up, I think. But the great man, Mark Selby, of course, sees everything out there. He'll have gotten that memo. Frame 1, do not leave anything at distance for Judd. Got to be so watertight with his safety. There again, you see, really thin. Doesn't want to open the Reds up. Now then, here is one of the tests of cueing that any snooker player can face. Digging deep, so there's no bailout. Has to go.
One.
Oh, what an answer.
One.
So can he fire back in the same fashion in which Trump began the night?
That long red, I was in the practice room a couple of days ago and Mark practiced that exact long red on both sides of the table for about 15-20 minutes.
Nine.
Well, 2 years ago, the last time he was in the semis of this tournament, played Neil Robertson. There was 6 centuries between them. So, you know, it's often mentioned about his tenacity and tactical nous, but the scoring, of course, is there as well. He's actually made 2 more centuries this season than Judd Trump.
17.
The tables this week along this end cushion I've enjoyed because I like to see players playing for the red, and Mark is doing here. You know, sometimes they can be so tight that players just don't want to play on it. It's too risky. But I like this table, the way it's playing. Yeah, you've still got to be accurate.
$25.
First mini risk. Yeah, there you see, it was a risk. Ever guaranteed
32.
there to land nicely on one. He's on nothing. Barring a double to right middle.
Mark Selby, 32.
Such a great thinker, Mark Selby again there. See, when you don't have any wing balls near any side cushion, and the reds are quite central, put the cue ball central. Never misses a trick that way. Just the fact that that last shot feathered the yellow. Quite a nice target, isn't it? Expect Judd to get close, in behind. Cover on the red, but can Judd back heel it?
Guys. Is he all right? No, we need to cover.
I think someone's
ambulance,
been
please.
just taking a little long. Well, it can get warm in here. We had this yesterday sometimes, so the gentleman there just getting some assistance from the staff here. Just taken backstage and looked after.
He's got interest, obviously, in the plant. The trouble with a plant like this, it's such an unusual type of shot. It's not one that you hardly almost ever play.
One.
It played to perfection.
Yeah, he never misses a trick, does he, Mark Selby? So back in already with a useful lead in this second frame. Been very positive so far tonight.
Six.
He's just thinking, do I play for the pink on this shot? No, he's not been tempted. He feels that he can pick them off using blue.
7.
Of course, he's the only player here who didn't actually win a title in the last 12 months. There were a few repeat winners, so he came in off the world ranking list. But there have been several years in this event where he's double, triple qualified.
13. $18. 19.
Seems to me they're both striking the ball with a lot of confidence so far this evening. You know, you can forgive early nerves, but these two, I guess they play so many big matches. They're just right into match mode from the off.
$24.
Usually brilliant at this shot, getting the revs on the cue ball.
25.
It might not look all that good, but the beauty of that shot, he didn't overplay it. He didn't get over ambitious with his cue ball. Didn't see that
Selby.
coming.
25.
Well, let's see how significant an error it is. First real significant miss tonight. Missed a long red earlier, but you expect him to get the blue.
Judd is sitting forward in his chair, looking at Mark, looking at... He wants to see the move that Mark makes and he'll learn from it. He's that sort of player now, we know, Judd Trump. Every day's a school day out there. That's a bonus, isn't it? Or is it? Is the plant on?
Selby come over to look at that with some concern. Trump up close to it, as you can see.
Yeah, it's just set in the near jaw, isn't it? It's an offsetter. So he'd be hitting the red on the inside half of it.
One.
Potentially a big shot coming up. Looks a bit ungainly sometimes with the rest because he uses his right hand, but he's very good with it, especially with power. Tough shot. Brilliant shot. That is a brilliant shot.
Seven.
Not saying it's going to happen, but that point I made earlier about these reds along the end cushion, that's why I don't like to see the pockets too tight. Because of this type of position, it gives you, some chance of being able to win the frame in one hit. Remains to be seen if that'll be the case, but
Eight.
calculated gamble maybe. Cannon on the middle red of the 3, possibly. Yeah, change of plan. As I say, the pockets are playable, so leave the cue ball high. Still fancy the red.
$14.
So we caught the
Judd
other one.
Trump, 14.
Just flicked it on the way through. So Selby needs 2 reds here.
One.
It was a bit of a feet wiper, that one, wasn't it? Didn't go in absolutely clean, hence the groan from the audience. Selby, if he does pop this red, will be relieved. He missed the blue initially, didn't he? That's where his problem started. It was an outside chance of a trump clearance.
7.
But now it's looking like 1 each.
$13. $13 and a second
Judd
frame.
Trump stays where he is. Mark Selby, to say, in the end, I think will be relieved there to get that frame on the board and to level the semi-final at 1 each. Remember, it's 6 needed to reach the final.
Thanks for helping out. Thanks for helping out, and sorry for not realising.
Welcome back to Bolton. It's the first semi-final tonight of the Kazoo Champion of Champions. 2 real big hitters here, Judd Trump and Mark Selby, 1 each. Trump dominated the first. He had a chance to counter-attack in there in frame 2, but just flicked the wrong red on the way through to trying to pot the other one. Mark Selby was happy to mop up and level up. I'm sure a lot of people here are hoping we get the full 11 frames tonight.
The 3rd frame. Judd Trump to break.
Judd Trump, the reigning champion. So impressive here last year. And he's spoken so much of how he loves this tournament to get us underway in frame 3. Trump was talking about how he wants certain changes made around snooker the other day. There's no magic wand, I don't think, but one thing that really does put the game on the map is when the best players really produce the goods in the arena. And that's what we're expecting from these 2 this evening. Seen high quality play every day in this event so far. Referee Marcel Eckhart just checking the exact line, how much of the red side of the reds you can see.
It really is top class, Marcel. He's looking at 3 or 4 different things there. Safety's been brilliant as well, isn't it? A few weeks ago I said to Judd, actually, I said, you can grind with the best of them, can't you? And he sort of smiled as if like, you bet I can. Showing it here, bossing this exchange.
Yes, he beat Mark Selby to win his first ranking title, didn't he? The 2011 China Open. And back then, of course, he got to the World Final shortly after. He was very much an all-and-out attacker, a potter, very entertaining, a little bit raw as well at the same time. But over the years, his all-round game has become formidable. And it's underpinned a lot of the tournaments he's won, particularly early on in events where sometimes you're struggling to find your best game, but he's found a way to win matches. And then when he starts to turn it on, as we saw against Mark Allen, then he's something else.
One.
Yeah, cracking pot. The green obviously is on. It's whether the cue ball past the brown. Appears not, so ball cushion it will be.
Yellow ball. Judd Trump. 1.
potting angle, I don't think he can quite get through. He could certainly manipulate the cue ball. It's a deep drag with a bit of right hand side to throw the red wide. It might be worth playing this, not at any great pace you wouldn't think. Or maybe playing the full ball cannon on the other red. Like that. Brilliant shot. Unlucky.
Judd Trump 4.
Yes, and that's the great unknown quantity, isn't it, in snooker? The little bit of running, which, for all the analysis, you really just can't predict. On another day, that cue ball comes away from the pocket, he's on the black, he's away.
One.
As it is, ball in hands, Trump knocks in a long red.
Unfortunate there, just drifting into balk. There's almost no value this time in the tuck in behind Brown. So is he looking to press? Looks like it.
Yeah, just didn't quite get there for the red. But again, it's a sign of his approach tonight.
That's on 5.
He's played an effective safety. I was just thinking Selby, he's 6 years older than Trump, but he would have seen him at close quarters when they were both younger at Willie Thorne's in Leicester, where, of course, Selby was based. There were a lot of junior events run there by Malcolm Thorne, Willie's brother, and Trump would make the trip with his dad to play in them most weekends. So Selby would have known about him a long, long time, well before they both turned pro. And it's that great grounding that they had, and people like Malcolm who gave it to the young lads that made them the players they are, because they were learning about winning and losing. It wasn't just a bash up down the club, it was tournaments, it was difficult, and it was all good character building.
Yeah, the way this frame is panning out is an indication of the respect they have for one another. It's that case where it happens a lot, doesn't it, in the modern game with two top players. You just don't want to or can't afford to play a standard safety shot, bringing reds into play, because you know the consequences of leaving one.
Selby must feel like he's back playing John Higgins again, some of the safety that Trump is producing. Rather slow trudge back to his seat from Mark Selby. So Trump won that little duel there, that little safety duel.
One.
I mean, it's early in the match yet, but Trump actually just ahead on the safety stats, 94% to 92.
Six. Seven.
Called upon the reserves of power, but
14.
no joy this time. He didn't quite get the cue ball high enough on the initial red, so he had to really force that. And he's got to be, well, he will be careful as he can be with opening these reds up.
Judd Trump 14.
Ten reds there, and he snookered on all of them. Well, no quarter asked or given here, is there? I think that's the thing about all those junior events I mentioned. You learn to respect your opponents, but you also learn to respect the game and how it's played. That grounding they had in tournament snooker.
So this time it's Mark who's eked out a half chance. Well taken. Needs to run.
One. Max Selby 1.
Judd will be relieved to see that he can actually hit a red this time. shouldn't be a problem. He's one of those, you miss the first one, you get the other one thin. No problem. Mark will see this as a pretty decent chance in behind green. There's a wee bit of danger if he plays in behind green. Of course, the brown is lurking there, so the line would be just to miss the brown on the right side of it. Whether he feels like he wants to take that risk. No. Just keeping the red central.
Trump's tactical game has improved so much over the years. It really has. There's never really any doubt with Selby's.
Yeah, and there's a lesson there for, up and coming players learning, and even professional players themselves, some of them. It's not like they're not capable of doing it. Some players don't put enough importance on that side of the game. Judd obviously does. And when you look at all the top players in the game, it's a club that you have to join or want to join. You just can't survive in top level snooker now without a good safety and tactical game. I think going forward, actually, you think of Zhao Xintong, a fantastic talent, we all know that, but still young in his development as a top player. At some stage, you've got to think, right, okay, how am I going to compete week in, week out with these guys? Well, you've got to join that club and get tough. Because they're that good at this type of thing, Trump, Selby, and the obvious ones, that you can't go out into a match against them and think, right, okay, I'm just going to try and blow them off the table. They don't allow you that freedom. It's as simple as that.
Well, Mark Selby might consider moving his chair to that bulk cushion because he's playing every shot from there right now. There's room for two though.
Okay, now Judd's been working his socks off to find this type of position. This is a chance in behind green. Yeah, I'd be mildly disappointed with that, but because he would have seen that as a pretty bog standard shot for him to find the cover. And he's got his reward. This is a chance.
It's been a battle of nearly 9 minutes since the last ball went in, the safety duel. Trump already 23 in front.
One. Eight. Nine.
This shouldn't really be a problem because the three reds now that are in the open is all he's going to need. Providing, of course, he stays on pink and black, which I would expect him to.
$16. $22. $23.
Well, he worked so hard to control,
30.
contain, and ultimately outmaneuver Mark Selby in that safety exchange.
31.
And now he needs this black to leave Selby needing a snooker. So a concern for Selby, if he's not on top in that department, he could have problems tonight. Hang on. He's okay. So one snooker needed.
38.
And that's, of course, dangerous territory. There will be no playing for snookers now. And that's significant because that might have saved, A, a lot of pain, but also a lot of time. And possibly the frame as well, you just never know.
42. .43.
So Trump has already scored well with that 89 in the first frame. His safety's been excellent in this frame. And Mark Selby on the back foot.
.46.
Yeah, the other thing is he looks hungry.
47.
He's been through a period in his career, isn't he? Just of, you know, the last, whatever, 10 months or a year where he lost a wee bit of interest now and again, but that's okay to do that, because that happens in life and sport, your job, whatever. But he's back now
49.
and looks fully tuned in to everything he's doing out there.
Well, 96% pot success, 93% safety success. You put it together, and it's been a terrific all-round display so far from Judd Trump, who leads Mark Selby in the first semi-final here by 2 frames to 1. Well, he's only 2-1 down, but Mark Selby has just been a little outmanoeuvred so far.
Thank you, 4th frame.
He's yet to really
Mark Selby to
score,
break.
and Judd Trump did win their safety battle in the last frame. He leads 2-1. This is the last before the mid-session interval. Of course, we've not seen Selby since the first day. He was here Monday. He won that group eventually with victory over John Higgins. The first of a number of great matches we've seen in the evening sessions during the week. Well, it's the first long pot he's missed this evening. He potted the previous 5.
Foul in miss. Judd Trump.
Yeah, probably just invite Mark to play from there.
From there, please, yeah.
Yeah, Judd's bossing it, isn't he, right now? That man is going through a freeze out. He just can't get anything going because of the class and the standard of Judd's safety and tactical game. And this is where he normally thrives. Ah, not this time.
Yeah, it's one you just expect him to get. Doesn't mean it's easy, of course, but he's got his hand on the table. Seen him knock so many in. And not just that, he's clearly on top. That was a chance to press on there and cause more concern for this man, Mark Selby. It wobbled and wobbled, but it didn't drop.
Yeah, that was a horrible shot to be faced with. Couldn't access the middle of the cue ball. I say it's freeze out time at the minute for Mark. This is where Judd's got to pounce and press home the advantage. Yeah, what he's looking for here is obviously the plant and keep the red over the pocket. Then it's black and the red above it, and an angle to go into the bunch off the next black, with the guarantee of the one that's over the corner.
$16.
He's got his wish, so Colin reserves of power, push some reds into the open, hopefully. Maybe didn't have quite enough angle on it, so still work to do.
24. $25. $32. $33.
Well, it's the fifth black coming up.
$40. $41.
Yeah, that red just needed a bit of persuasion to drop here.
That was a gorgeous little shot. That shot alone,
46.
That's one of those D-cell shots that can happen to the best of them, but that gives us a real good insight. We know he's playing well, but it gives you an insight into the confidence when you have that type of little shot that can easily go wrong. And of course, on the verge of a few shots away from
52.
a healthy 3-1 interval advantage is going to give the great man in the chair much to ponder.
53.
Yeah, the problem's not the scoreline, it's the way it's panned out, the way Trump is shutting him out. He had that half chance Selby, left the red in the jaws of the pocket. Other than that, he's not had that many clear-cut chances, really.
60. $61.
I didn't quite get high enough, so usually a problem. Mid-distance red coming up, just to secure that 3-1 advantage. Again, he uses experience here. He'll play
66.
whichever way helps the pot as far as cue ball's concerned. Yeah, just stun it in. Straight black. That's absolutely fine.
Well, this is really impressive stuff from Judd Trump. In all departments. And we saw it right from the off. He made that 89 in frame one. That could have been a century. He won the safety battle in the last frame. Hasn't quite got the cluster there, but he's 78 in front with 67 on, so Selby needs 3 snookers. What Selby really needs when they come back after the interval is to get in early in a frame and start doing some damage himself, because he's been kept out.
Judd Trump, 74.
Well, anything could have gone in anywhere there, frankly, but nothing did. It was a good break, wasn't it? 74. Dangerous in a way, opening the reds like that, because if Selby had got on one and been able to take 4 of the 5 with blacks, take it down to 1, the free ball comes into play then.
Foul. Judd Trump, 7. And
That's the end of that. He's caught the black. Judd Trump on top as the players head to the interval in the first semi-final of the Champion of Champions. An eagerly awaited match this, and Trump in all departments looking good. He leads Mark Selby by 3 frames to 1.
Judd Trump will be delighted not just by the scoreline, but the way it's been achieved. He's been the total package this evening. Mark Selby.
Thank you, settle down, please.
The third frame seemed as though it might be tailor-made for him.
Break.
But Trump made that 49 break after getting the better of a 10-minute safety exchange with the maestro. As David Hendon said just before the interval, Trump excellent so far in all departments.
Yeah, I agree. It was 4 very good frames of snooker. Judd, we know, is a very attacking, aggressive player, but you know, let's be honest. This level now, they've all got excellent safety games, defensive games. It's just the brand of snooker goes with the attacking. You have to sometimes refuse shots or play subtle safety in amongst it all. And he seemed to do that and win the battle more often than not. Anyway, we've got more of this to come. Two of the great players of the game, seemingly in good form.
Yes, and I think if he can beat Selby by showing tactical excellence, that gives him a lot of self-belief, a lot of satisfaction. But the great beauty of a best of 11 is that it gives the player who's behind at the interval some form of latitude to get back into it.
Yeah, we're down the line, and Marcel Eckhart is very keen to see exactly where the cue ball is for the reasons that, of course, he might have to replace it. Judd, I think, could get to the edge of the bunch, but it looks pretty risk-free dropping into them off two cushions anyway. Not saying that. I think he's left that in one of them. No, that's okay. Maybe he has stuck it well. There you are. He has. Looked fairly innocuous going into him in that way.
You can see from his score sheet, he's been starved of quality table time, Selby. Nothing like winning a frame with a sizable break, but there's lots of work to do before that comes to pass.
Nine. Sixteen. 17. 24. 25.
Well, he's got an angle on this. Not a huge one. Well, he's unlucky there. He could have been on something more straightforward than
32.
what he is.
The cue ball and the red came back together. Selby was hoping for some kind of separation, but it didn't happen. And when you have to judge a potting angle with white and red so close together, it's really tough.
Yes, and of course with that it wasn't that easy to keep the cue ball under tight control. It's actually not so bad where it's finished. This is the pot.
Rambo.
Well, there's a red, as you can see, left of the bunch, which can be got on. I think that's quite a good shot. He's gone a fraction too far, but he goes to the middle.
37.
He played that well.
Already his highest break of the match. And if this shot goes to plan, it could be a sizable contribution. It should be a sizable contribution.
Well, if the
red goes to the middle, it's furthest right red of them all. It's an easy shot to drop through for the pink where it is. It gives him very little to do. Whereas if he had to play outwardly onto a different colour, that would be a different story. We can just drop it in.
Well,
this is a good start. Yes, he got in with a fairly unlikely way with the roll up to the bunch that Judd didn't quite judge right. At no point would you have said it was going to be a big chance, but he's made it into an excellent one.
50. $51.
And his interval time on the practice table is being vindicated.
Seems to be using quite a long bridge these days, more so than in the past.
58.
Noticed it earlier on. Shots like the previous one.
59.
He seems to just be playing and not worrying about all that. When he first turned professional, he had a very long cue action. It wasn't really in his interest then. It's before he became a top player. But he's definitely playing a little bit longer. Cue's coming right back. Playing with a lot of freedom. To me, that is a slight change in his game. Anyway, he's not played that one to perfection.
66.
There's a colour with this red to the middle, and it's not straightforward where the cue ball is on it.
Mark Selby. 66.
Well, he's managed to nudge the pink safe, so despite the fact that he hasn't won the frame, he's played an effective safety shot to enhance his chances of winning it.
Selby's safety was his prerogative, refusing the red, but he needed to play a more telling safety than that. And what's more, the bonus of getting the pink out.
Fine.
Well, he saw the shake of the head and he's not on one. He's not a thin one, but it's certainly not what he was intending. He gave him the option to try and nudge the other red out, which didn't quite work out. I don't think he'd want to take a too low a value colour here because he'd be running low on points. If he does play the yellow, then to take blacks with all of what's left. And we know nothing goes to the right corner from the left side. Well, if that cannon had worked, he would have been favoured in the frame, would you believe, from here?
11.
Desperately looking for a way to keep this break going. This plant he's looking at is more than difficult. You have to play safe, reluctantly.
So trump 11.
Trump, though, not being outmanoeuvred when it comes to tactics. Look at that. Superior to Selby so far.
If he had have missed the jaws there, the keyboard would have come out into the middle of the table, into a better position. Well, the green
Blue ball.
is no good to him. This blue is mighty difficult. Well, see, he didn't take the green because he could have only tied the frame with the green.
Shot trump 1.
Played the biggest of big shots there, and he got nowhere near it, quite honestly. Not that it was anyway easy.
One.
That was a desperation blue. And to Selby's great relief, it didn't come close, as Neil said.
I think Judd will see himself as a bit unlucky in that little exchange there. A couple of times he tried to find a way of getting the frame one from a clearance. Well, didn't quite run for him.
9.
They'll be relieved that it never amounted to anything.
$16. 17.
Sometimes sitting alone, sometimes chatting with a friend is the best thing to do during a mid-session interval. But when you've been starved of table time, get out there, knock a few balls in, loosen up the cue arm. That's what Selby did. He made a 66 break, and eventually he crossed the line. So Judd Trump still leads, but now only by a single frame. Mark Selby back in the game, back in the match. The semi-final of the Champion of Champions.
Frame 6. Mark Selby to break.
Interesting note here, Neil. Judd Trump defending the title, of course, when he lifted the trophy last year. He lost only 5 frames in the tournament. He's already lost 5 frames in this event, and he's halfway to the final. That's more a commentary on how dominant he was 12 months ago.
Yeah, I mean, to win this event by not losing many frames takes a bit of doing. It's the cream of the crop playing here. I know that John Higgins did something very similar in the Players' Championship. But it's, you know, not really very easy to do things like that. It's an event which is held in very high esteem by the players. I know that the one table set up the prestige that goes with being the champion of champions. It's kind of nice we've got these big hitters, and we've got Fan Zhenyi in the event still, who doesn't qualify in that category yet, but he's here in the semi-finals. He probably can't believe that he's in such exalted company, but he deserves to be.
These two have met in 3 previous semi-finals, and Trump has won them all. A low-profile PTC event 11 years ago, European Masters in Romania in 2016, and the International Championship in Daqing, China in 2019. He won that one 9-4, played beautifully, made 3 centuries. And in those last 2 semi-finals, European Masters and International Championship, not only did he beat Selby in the semi-final, he went on to claim the silverware, beating Ronnie O'Sullivan and Shaun Murphy respectively. I think he's relishing this, you know, going toe-to-toe in the tactical department with Mark Selby. I think he's into it.
Put quite a bit of screw on the cue ball there, so it sort of drifted in and screw across the table.
One.
Not an easy scoring table, mind you, where the balls are. Nine reds below the black spot. So 40 would be a fair enough break here, I think, where they currently stand.
7.
Anyway.
Eight.
Look at those reds all lined up on the top cushion. It's as though you've got the box of balls and tipped them out from the blue spot onwards, and they've all rolled down there.
$14. $15.
Now, with an angle on this black, you just could play in such a way to try and shift some of those reds. I don't know what the exact plan would be, but surely with a little bit of force, I'm going to try and make something happen down there, because otherwise it's going to be a little congested, I think. gone the other way and he's done nothing. I'm a little surprised there.
Yeah.
As he plays the plant, he had an angle to try and move reds. Maybe he just felt they wouldn't be brought into a better place. Now he's got a plant, which wasn't part of the plan.
Now, that didn't stretch the imagination too much, but Selby
23.
really is an extraordinary shot maker. He sees shots that others don't.
$29. $30.
Well, this time they throw that cue ball wide and towards a big target of reds. Not much shifted there.
32.
Now is he on the red through the gap? Just seen a little gap that didn't appear in his eye line. Don't think so. A little look at it, but I don't think he can get to it.
Mark Selby, 32.
Useful break and a very good way to end it. The cue ball, as is customary with Selby, glued to that ball cushion.
One.
I looked at the black, but it'd be a long sort of drag shot to hold for a red, and of course the black would be not unmissable while he's playing a different shot.
Five.
We're not dead in line with that, but it appeared that it went. Playing it with a trace of side though.
Six.
It sort of almost round the pink.
And now, at the very least,
13.
considering where the remainder of the balls are, the remainder of the reds, this is a very useful lead.
14.
Well, it may have to be another plant. He didn't go into those all that firmly. That'll be the second plant of the frame if he knocks it in.
Mark Selby, 21.
Thought he played the previous shot not as positively as he could have done to try and open those reds up. Always try to just get one out or two out rather than open up the whole table, and he's not over the line by any means. Yes, the table's difficult. Not dissimilar to the last frame. Judd trying to play catch up here.
The configuration of the balls makes it look really awkward, and it is. But they could open up in one fell swoop, get the right contact,
9.
and the whole complexion of the frame could change.
Yeah, but he needs to be a little higher on the black to help that happen. He has to play on the left-hand loose one now. Yeah, making it even easier to pop by just shifting it along the cushion. This is where he really does need an angle on his next colour to get into the reds. Just off straight would be interesting for Trump on this black. Well, now then, we are potentially one big shot away here from being right back in the frame.
24.
Now, the brave shot here would be to play the red he was just looking at, roll it down the cushion into the top left pocket. That angle, but he's playing the other one.
$25.
It was a minimal amount of angle to play with. He's not had the best of kisses again.
No. Still got the red pushing away from the other two reds though in potting it.
31.
To keep the break alive here. Got a really easy shot on the blue with the pink and black in the way for playing the cannon. Amazing, isn't it, how you can finish there on that shot. You're going to finish there more often than
35.
not, even though a little bounce off the cushion is perfectly on the red. I think he's got to consider himself a bit unlucky to finish there. kept himself in the
Trump,
frame.
35.
Yeah, I think despite his best efforts, he was unlucky on several occasions in that break. Not more so than his final positional shot. In this kind of position, 2 reds left. Selby 18 in front. The way he plays the game, you'd fancy his chances, but the balls could be very nice for a Trump counter-attack if he gets the chance.
You look at the table and you think, well, it's obviously advantage Selby, but he needs both of these reds as well. It's not as if there's only 18 in front now, so he needs them as much as that man. He's going to get the frame 1. And as you can see, everything else is out in the open play. And if he's got to play that left-hand red, it's so close to the cushion. The little thin safety, quite difficult. You catch it from anything a little on the thick side, cue ball can not make it back to the other end. Well, that's, I think, why he played it the way he did. He's left, I think, a free ball.
Mark Selby, 5.
It will be a free ball, I'm sure.
And a free ball.
And that changes things quite a bit. But that red was so close to the cushion that the safety had to be very thin. And that's why Judd ended up missing it altogether.
The penalty points without the free ball would not have been too damaging. But the free ball gives Mark Selby the wonderful opportunity he's been waiting for to achieve parity.
Yes, if you can get through to the blue, perhaps, then you need red and the colour. Won't need the other red. This is not on track.
Six.
So for Trump, hope springs eternal. What a frame this is.
Yeah, big frame, I think. Trump deserved to be 3-1 up, I feel, but it could be erased here.
Mark Selby, 6.
Had to be delicate, and he was. But has he left a touching ball? No touching ball. And nothing really for Selby to do other than playing in simple containment.
Yeah, I mean, not a great shot from Selby there. I mean, get distance here, Trump. Surely you can get the cue ball away from there. I'm not sure whether Mark played a shot that would be in keeping with his tactical brilliance that we know see of him.
Yeah. Thanks.
He's usually got an answer for most things there, but he just made it a little awkward for himself now. You can see just a tiny bit of the edge of that red. So he's played that shot very well, in fairness. And Buck is leading the way in this exchange. It looks like there might be a way through. Quite straight.
One.
No hesitation but to use the looped bridge there as he played that one off the cushion.
Yeah, that's going to make sure that he can be forced into a tie in potting this. That's what you talk about, just taking the points and running. Now, of course, it has to be a respot for Judd to win this frame.
6.
With the red and the black and all the colours.
Mark Selby, 6.
In this frame, he's played quite a few conservative safety shots. And you always sensed after that one he was asking for trouble, Neil.
There are plenty of snookering balls. Little swerve, which you need to control. It's worked out pretty well, I think. If you can get between the yellow and the brown or not. Yeah, he can. So this is a big moment, I feel, in this match. Judd got him in a snooker, in which he's got to hit it, of course, and not leave anything on. I think right now priority is to hit it because, as I say, the best you could hope for at the moment, Judd is taking this frame to a respot.
No one's better at escaping a snooker and avoiding damage than Selby, but this is a real examination.
A little bang of the cue there. He knows that he's done damage here. This frame has got something, will have some life still in it, I think.
One.
Interesting way of playing it. Pink's a little bit in the way now of getting back and around for the yellow. Well, that was always going to be the problem, playing it in that on that side. I don't think he can avoid it. If he forces it, he'll go towards the pink. Plays it more gently, he won't, but of course more gently won't get him up towards the yellow anyway.
Eight. Judd Trump, 8.
Apart from the clearance, that was the next best thing. This is the lengthiest frame of the match, and you have to think perhaps the most important.
Foul and a miss.
How about that? Wow, I tell you, that makes a difference.
Trump, 4.
That Kewell didn't go in there.
He just checked it.
Didn't see him missing this. I'm sure he's trying to hit one side of it, but of course, now the equation has changed. Wouldn't go to a respot if Judd Trump could clear these. Now, this is the red's on the table for one reason alone, just to measure the
No free ball.
free ball, which it isn't. It was called as a miss.
Yeah, it is a miss. It was a miss. Yeah.
Yeah, and he'll duly have it put back. A good referee, you know. I really do think that Marcel Eckhout is an extremely proficient referee. Doing his job well. Very alert to what's happening out there with the placement of balls, which is sometimes it can be quite an arduous procedure.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. His concentration levels are terrific.
Two.
Oh, dear me. Dear me.
5.
I wonder if it might be Mark Selby's day today, because I feel that Judd is sitting there thinking that maybe the rub of the green has not gone for him this evening.
Mark Selby, 5.
Judd coming back to the table, 28 behind, 22 on. A couple of snookers needed. I agree. In the last couple of frames, particularly, Selby's had some subtle good fortune. But there was nothing subtle about that yellow. That was just an outrageous fluke.
One snooker on the pink to tie, 6-point penalty.
9.
Because it is more difficult to get a meaningful snooker like this, because first opportunity your opponent will roll it in or over the pocket, so he's going to have to get it probably now. And that's not the one. That is not the one. Selby will drop this over the top left pocket, or better still, in the top left pocket.
What a frame, what an epic duel that was, decided in the end by an extraordinary turn of events. The fluked yellow followed by the green from distance. 3-3. We've just witnessed here at the University of Bolton Stadium not just the lengthiest frame of the match, but also the lengthiest frame of the tournament. And guess who won it? Mark Selby will battle on until the cows come home to win snooker matches. He's stoic, stubborn, and he sticks to opponents like glue. 3-3, what started out as best of 11 is now, from here, a best of 5. If you look at all of the stats between these two, Trump has the edge. 7-5 in matchups. Total frames now, including tonight, 62 for Trump, 45 for Selby. We know, I mentioned before, Trump's won all 3 of their semi-finals in the past. He's won their only meeting in the Champion of Champions. And in terms of centuries made in their meetings, he leads 19-10. The only stat that Mark Selby holds the edge in, when it's gone to a deciding frame, he has won every time. 3 out of 3. It's got the feel this could go to the wire again.
I just feel that Judd's getting a little frustrated. He normally knocks these in anyway. That one not particularly close. Just get a sense that those last 2 frames have just sort of nickled him a little bit, the way that he's lost them both. He was always behind in them both, but I feel that he could have stolen perhaps one of them. That would have given him, or kept him his 2-frame lead.
The one thing Selby hasn't done in this match yet, with the exception of a 66 break in frame 5, is to score.
8.
Mind you, Trump knows from bitter experience that scoring against Selby is no guarantee of success. Twice, Trump has made a 1-4-7 against Selby and lost the match.
Well, that bounced out. I mean, that did bounce out.
Mark Selby.
He was across, I think, comms box, but it shouldn't do that. He did hit it hard. He saw him wave his arms. Occasionally out in the middle pocket, if you hit them hard, it would do that on any table.
One.
It's an unusual occurrence, this. It's basically hit the back of the pocket and found a way of popping back out.
Will that nullify the flute yellow in frame 6?
6. Seven.
Yeah, but even for the pocket cam, you get the impression it certainly should have gone in. Wow, that's a great split. Well, that won't make Mark Selby feel any better. Judd has played that, providing he's on a red, that is.
12.
Pink completely square on. Well,
13.
it's an interesting little point of the match we've just seen there. It'll only mean anything if Judd Trump goes on and wins the frame from here. All of a sudden it'll be Mark that'll feel a little frustrated with things. Lots of swings and roundabouts, twists and turns at this game, aren't there? Anyway, he's still
20.
not really in prime position.
One. 28.
Striving to get that cue ball under control, and when he does, with the Reds as they are, this has to qualify as an opening to go back in front.
They'd be happy with that. If you want to get away from that red on the left cushion, still got to play one shot to regain position. Just thinking about that, the last shot there, the brown that Judd has spotted. I've got a feeling yesterday we saw a brown ball into that pocket also bounce out. I believe it was Rob Milkins.
33.
Who hit one quite hard, I have to say, and it bounced out of the top left pocket in a similar fashion to the black we saw.
34.
Both were hit with extreme pace, I'll say that. But it is still a rarity to see it happen.
Yeah, if you're watching and you play in the local leagues,
41.
You will recognise that there's one or two venues in your area where that happens far too regularly.
42.
But it shouldn't happen in the semi-final of the Champion of Champions.
$49. 50.
That was not a good shot from Judd. He didn't pot it cleanly, and as a consequence the cue was way offline for the blue. Still got a shot, but as you can see, in between, and the red didn't go into the middle of the pocket. So we've got more to do still. It's never been quite in this break, but it looks as if it doesn't matter. It looks as if that will not be a factor in
55.
making the important clearance or the important break.
56.
I need one more red after this next colour.
$61.
Given the adventurous nature of this break, it was always perhaps inevitable he was going to have a tricky frame ball. Well done.
62.
Yeah, it's been a good effort actually. He's never had quite the cue ball control as some of the other
69.
players, even the man in the chair, Mark Selby. You know, he's not a Ronnie
70.
O'Sullivan cue ball absolutely on a string behind the next ball. But he's such a great potter, shot maker, that it doesn't always matter. When he won the world title, that was a feature of how he played in that
77.
final against John Higgins. Just kept breaks going all the time. And I think after the Selby bounce out, this is a significant moment. Judd will feel a lot better than he did at the end of the previous frame.
$83. Foul. Mark Selby. 7. Judd Trump. 83.
Marcel Lecomte
Do you
waiting
concede,
for Mark Selby to concede.
Yeah.
He
Right.
has done eventually. so the black bounces out. Trump bounces back. He regains the lead at 4-3. And I think Trump's done the right thing to go out and leave Selby there in his chair, stewing. Trouble is, snooker players do tend to suffer from selective memory. He's thinking about the black, that's all he can think about, Selby. Not be thinking about the yellow that he fluked in frame 6. If he did think about that, it might ease the pain.
Well, that was a little bit out of kilter with his usual range on safety. Played him behind yellow and brown there, and Selby's usually very good at getting in those areas, but not that time. He has left a red on, so that is a mistake for Selby, out of character.
One.
Torn, isn't he, here between a few shots. He wanted to play the yellow. The angle's not great. Fairly aggressive shot selection. The cue will just run very favourably, I think, if he's on that red. Walk round purposefully. I think he doesn't want that back. That's a good little nudge. Just appeared as if the cue ball was going to head into the middle of the bunch and be buried in there. Wasn't the case.
A prime example of fortune favouring the brave because, as you said, Neil, that brown was a pressure shot. And now it could pay rich dividends indeed.
13.14.
He might go into the bunch unless he sees a plant there and he's shaping up as if one is on. Do they look in line to you? Probably sort of right side of the pocket from behind as we were looking. And he thinks it's on because that's why he's played on it and not headed into the bunch of 7 reds.
21.
But it's not absolutely dead on. Just to the right side, but I think, look, it's close enough, surely. Yeah, kind of went in where he thought it was going to hit.
$27. $28.
Reds developed, but again, pressure on this one.
Yeah, but didn't he play it well? I mean, as you say, it wasn't that easy with hand on the cushion rail, but he held the cue ball.
36.
Almost back to that situation where his brakes are marginally out of position, but it just marches on, doesn't he? Doesn't worry.
$43. $44. $51. $52. $59.
Well, we mentioned it a few times.
60.
For fear of repeating ourselves, one shot has turned this match again. This time in favour of the man at the table. He's not over the line yet, but he's close to. And it was the bounce out that man is probably still thinking about.
67. $68.
I think, though, Trump is good value for this lead. He's made the 4 highest breaks of the match. And when he had that record-breaking campaign in 2019-2020, capturing
74.
6 world ranking titles in unprecedented fashion, it was his reliability
75.
in amongst the balls when he had scoring chances that was the major issue. And it seems to have returned.
Well,
$82.
the only surprise, I guess, with these two giants of the modern game playing, we haven't had a century yet. Been quite a few decent breaks, frame-winning breaks from Judd. Maybe we'll get one here.
$83. 90.
It's been a tournament in which the centuries have flowed.
91.
So far we've had 16 here this week. Only 12 centuries in the tournament in its entirety last year.
Yep, the shot was always there. Beautiful. I think we're going to see one here to add to that list. Nobody's played a delightful cannon.
99.
He played so well in his previous matches, and especially the Mark Allen game. He's almost unplayable. But I think the problem for both players really is they have got to follow up a very good win. Mark Selby beat John Higgins impressively. Going to follow up with another big win. And that was the first century of the evening.
104. 105.
Oh, how about that? What a shot. How many cushions? Let's just count them. 5. I make it. Brilliant shot.
112. 114. 14.
Moves
and the French.
2 ahead with a possible 3 to play. And he's playing beautifully. It's going to be a really tough task for Mark Selby to get back into this. Judd Trump in the mood, in the groove. 1 frame away from victory and a place in the final of the Kazoo Champion of Champions of 2022.
Judd Trump to break.
But knowing Mark Selby's reputation for recovery, recuperation and for rallying, Trump will want to finish this off as quickly as possible. .95% for Judd Trump. Pot success rate. That is hard to beat. Although, when he beat Mark Allen the other night, even in a 6-1 defeat, Allen's pot success was 95%. His stats have just improved, Neil.
1.
The way that he whipped the cue ball around the angles there with right-hand side. It zipped off those cushions. And he's got to play a little deft one here, even behind the colour. A lot of reds to cover up on this shot.
Judd Trump 1.
Well, he's played it well enough. I think the right-hand red he can get to, but even then it's not a particularly inviting table. Mark Selby comes to. Well, if he's going to try and drop into the left side of the bunch, which it's only shaping up to do, he's decided against it. I was going to say the red on the left is making that very difficult shot, so he's on the other side. Well, judged to perfection. So he's got out of that really small predicament that he was in.
Who would have thought that when Mark Selby defeated Shaun Murphy 18-15 to win his 4th world title in early May 2021, that 18 months later he would still be waiting for his next appearance in a final. Didn't make one all of last season. Hasn't made one yet this season.
Credit to Mark Selby for that shot. It was quite brave to go into the bunch, thinking that he might leave a red. Yes, he has left one, but you know, the one just off straight there, hard, tough shot to play. But then Judd might think, well, hang on, what is my safety shot here? And that's where he can be dangerous. The ability to pop long balls, maybe when forced into them. This could be one of those occasions.
Well,
it's just a fantastic shot. It really is, because, like I say, he was in a spot of bother, and now he's absolutely bang in the balls. That is wonderful cueing.
Given the context, given the cueing, if that's not a hot shot, I don't know what is. Now it's just minding his work, chipping away.
Yeah, and getting that red perhaps off the pink spot. So certainly that's what he's eyeing up there. That would free things up for the high value colours a little.
7.
You feel it's in his hands now as to how close he can get this match won at this particular visit.
Thirteen. $14.
Typical of, I think, Judd Trump's style of play, that he wouldn't be overly bothered that he's not
19.
got a great deal of access towards the black. Get by with slightly lower value colours. Certainly going to move those 2 reds below the pink on this shot to give even more freedom to it.
$26.
He's okay right-handed, Judd Trump.
27.
But when he's got to play with pace, that's when he's a little vulnerable. He's not as good right-handed as Ronnie O'Sullivan is left. Let's put it that way.
There's one big shot here, just avoiding the green and then slipping back up down the right side of the table.
Judd Trump, 27.
Surprised he missed it. I thought the positional side of it was the problem. Now, what has Selby got? He's been sitting down a while, ruining that ball that bounced out a couple of frames ago with absolutely nothing since. 28 minutes without a pot. And now he's presented with this.
Yeah, after that black refused to fall, Trump put together 225 points with that reply. Selby needs to show his characteristic steel.
Well, there you see it. There you see, do you think, well, that was a bad miss, but then all the things that go on in the snooker player's mind. Time away from the table. Time to let some negative thoughts creep in the case of some players. I'm not saying that's what happened there. As it happens, it wasn't a very easy shot, but it's not any easier when you've not seen a ball for half an hour.
One.
A little slowish walk around the table for Judd. I don't know whether the brown goes in the middle. If it doesn't, he's going in behind the brown, and that's always second prize at this level. You might think, yes, he's got him in trouble, but it players in more trouble when they're sitting there watching their opponent close out a match. And that's the only consolation for Selby, is that he is coming back to the table. Tough snooker that he's in mind.
It really is, but if anyone can solve this conundrum, it's him.
He's already eyed up the two reds with the black there, trying to get him behind those two. And I tell you, if anyone can, Mark can. Other than that, I'm not sure quite how he thinks he's going to hit one and not leave one. I think he's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cushions here. Be some shot. Great effort. Brilliant effort. But he'll get the chance to play it again a little better because he's got to go back. So he's got the line. You at home have got the idea. Got to get the pace spot on. Just make the most minor of adjustments to the place he hits the first cushion.
Foul and a miss. Judd Trump 4.
As we said, even for the professor of Green Bay's geometry, this is a test and a half.
Yes, and the miss rule, if you're not that frequent a watcher of the game, think, why is he putting it back? Well, Mark could hit a red here more often than not. He wants to hit one that leaves things safe. So that's why the miss rule exists. Great effort, this. Oh,
foul and a miss. Judd Trump
going
7.
back as well. And the points at the moment are okay, but of course if he keeps hitting the black, then next thing you know, you're about a million behind.
Foul and a miss. Judd Trump 7.
4 attempts, 4 valiant attempts, but nevertheless a quartet of fouls and 22 penalty points thus far.
That will do, thank you.
That gentleman that said, "Come on, Mark," before he played that last one, inspired him. I doubt it somehow.
22 points given away, but in many respects it might be a profitable trade-off for Selby.
Not if this red goes in, Phil.
What?
Not now, you're right. It was a tough spot. And Trump is clearly in to win.
Well, he's not there yet, and we don't know
4.
how things are going to pan out over the next few days, even if he does win. But I can tell you one thing, he's definitely playing a lot better. It's the first real sign from Judd this season since the World Championships, where he got beaten in the final by Ronnie O'Sullivan. And the signs are the work that he's been putting in is paying off because he's playing better, no doubt. Not delighted with that last shot, however. Wanted to be straight on the pink, and then it would be all over, I think.
$11.
Almost there.
Well, if he rolls the blue in, there's too many in it by a point. If he takes a lower value colour but gets on a red and pots the red, then it's definitely over anyway. And that is the conundrum here. Does he play the blue, and is a red available straight afterwards? We know that Mark Selby can get the snooker, so he won't be thinking he's won yet, Judd.
17. Judd Trump 17.
Some flickering embers of hope for Selby, the great escapologist.
Frank conceded. Frank, much
hope has been extinguished. We're always looking for turning points in these matches. There's no doubt where the turning point was tonight. At 3-3, Selby potted a black. It jumped out of the pocket. And from that moment on, Judd Trump took charge. And he was in total command for the rest of the contest. Judd Trump into the final of the Kazoo Champion of Champions with a well-deserved 6-3 victory.